Dana White being named the promoter of this fight, considering he's never been in the boxing space, has no stable of boxers. He didn't negotiate shit, and is being handed this fight on a silver platter and called promoter.
I may have missed it, but was Oscar de la Hoya included in any of the tributes tonight?
I did. Yeah, he was in the video.
Okay.
He was in the video. He's an asshole, but you can't deny what he did. I mean, the guy, you know what I mean? He's a fucking lunatic. But he was a bad boy in his day. Before he got his fake abs. Yeah, he used to have real abs.
Oscar de la Hoya is back slinging haymakers, this time at UFC chief Dana White. From vintage beef to new flames, De La Hoya is furious with Dana's involvement in the Canelo vs. Crawford super fight, and he's not giving an inch. Oscar De La Hoya and Dana White have long been embroiled in a feud that dates back years. From acerbic interviews to Twitter barbs, De La Hoya has never hesitated to take a shot at the president of the UFC. Whether it was taunting White for his inexperience in the ring or taking digs at the format of his MMA events, Oscar has made it a point to publicly taunt Dana. Their feud has been a recurring headline, with De La Hoya seldom missing an opportunity to take a swing at White's decisions.
Time to clock out of work and tune in to the only segment in boxing that brings you the facts and makes you laugh. It's Clapback Thursdays. Alright, so last weekend gave me some good material, so let's get into it right now. Okay guys, so UFC Noche. So I was true to my word. I did attend last Saturday. I sat in Turkey's box upstairs, and I have to be honest with you, it was beautiful. It was spectacular. It looked really cool. The production value was there. Everything was amazing. The fights were actually really good. So congratulations to Turkey for footing the bill on this and making his celebration of the Mexican culture come to life. And Dana, I know this wasn't your idea or vision. Nothing ever is at the UFC. You're the Fertitta's errand boy. But I'm always honest and fair, and I want to praise the production. UFC Noche was a good time, and I really enjoyed it.
Recently, De La Hoya fueled the beef by belittling Dana White for encroaching into the world of boxing promotion, more precisely, for sensationalizing the upcoming super fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Dana is encroaching on his territory, in De La Hoya's assessment, given he has no genuine background or experience in the world of boxing. Oscar charged him with faking knowledge of the nuances of promoting boxing simply to ride the opportunity of a big-name fight, suggesting that White's participation is more a matter of business face than knowledge or interest in the sport.
Dana White being named the promoter of this fight, considering he's never been in the boxing space, has no stable of boxers. He didn't negotiate shit, and is being handed this fight on a silver platter and called promoter.
Going further, De La Hoya asserted Dana White was basically given this promotional shot on a silver platter. He contended that White did not deserve this moment on the basis of boxing hustle, but simply took advantage of timing and business influence. Oscar proceeded to berate the promotional rollout, indicating that it is hurried and raw. In his opinion, there's minimal focus on boxing culture or fan involvement, as though the fight was being promoted for money, not legacy or viewer enjoyment.
He's the trust fund baby of boxing. That's it. The trust fund baby of boxing. And get this. The fight will take place during the day on September 13th in Las Vegas. During the day. So Canelo will fight during the day on Netflix just to accommodate UFC Noche later that evening on a different network. So does that mean this fight isn't important? Do they not give a fuck about the fans or viewership?
Dana White, with his explosive temper, shocked back with a calm, collected attitude, but wasn't short on insults. He publicly embarrassed Oscar De La Hoya at a recent media session, calling him out on previous flops and depicting him as an irrelevant figure in today's fight scene. Dana underscored that Oscar got his moment to shine and blew it, and now only falls back on nitpicking to remain in the mix. His cool demeanor merely served to add bite to the biting words.
I may have missed it, but was Oscar de la Hoya included in any of the tributes tonight?
I did. Yeah, he was in the video.
Okay.
He was in the video. He's an asshole, but you can't deny what he did. I mean, the guy, you know what I mean? He's a fucking lunatic. but he was a bad boy in his day before he got his fake abs. Yeah, he used to have real abs.
Canelo Alvarez, never one to get himself entangled in promo drama, finally spoke out and commented on the De La Hoya versus Dana White soap opera. Taking Dana's side, Canelo criticized his previous promoter, calling Oscar disloyal and unreliable. He stated that he has left Golden Boy Promotions for a reason and that he has no regrets. Canelo's backing of Dana not only lent strength to White's argument, but also landed a personal punch on De La Hoya, further widening the gap.
I've seen some stuff about with the whole like Oscar De La Hoya thing.
I'm glad to go away from him.
Yeah.
He's f***ing crazy.
We're really good friends with Dana White.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like Oscar De La Hoya too, I said.
Oscar De La Hoya has announced he's coming out of retirement to box again.
Cocaine isn't cheap.
I think nobody.
Because he's a vacuum, right?
Every time he's in problems, he don't have any fighters left. Ryan Garcia, because he signed with him. Now Ryan Garcia, I think is in a problem with him. That's why nobody wants to be with him, because he's not loyal.
Aside from the fight, the drama surrounding it has caught so much attention that more people have started to join the bandwagon and shared their opinions on the fight, with Teofimo Lopez leading the charge. Lopez, among many others, praised Canelo's power, experience, and proven track record at the highest level. The early consensus leaned heavily toward the Mexican superstar, expecting his pressure and strength to overwhelm Crawford.
I still say Canelo.
I got Canelo too.
I still say Canelo. Ring IQ, I believe that Crawford has a bit more.
Yep.
However, it's just the size difference. I think that where Crawford is lacking is that he should test the waters even with somebody at that weight class before facing Canelo. But hey, they say he's a dog. He's got shot in the head and drove to the hospital, so maybe that's just his mentality.
Hey, let's see. Only one way to find out until that day comes.
It's the only way, but I definitely think that it's a great fight overall. You know, black and brown is how you get down.
That's right, that's right.
Meanwhile, Sean Porter also had his doubts regarding Crawford's capacity to deal with Canelo's power, questioning whether Crawford would be able to take those tough punches. Porter highlighted Canelo's strength and toughness, and he implied that the toughness could prove to be a huge test for Crawford in the ring. Although he admires the ability of Crawford, Porter opines that when it comes to the matter of taking big shots, Canelo is the obvious choice, and this could be the point of turning in the bout.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terrence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, and we see how that panned out, you know what I mean? So
Juan Manuel Marquez also had the same issues, pointing out that the weight increase might affect Crawford's performance. Marquez indicated that fighting up to take on a larger, stronger fighter such as Canelo may hurt Crawford's speed and endurance. He fears that the difference in size would be the determining factor, potentially favoring Canelo with power and endurance. Similar to Porter, Marquez appreciates Crawford's ability, but isn't entirely certain Crawford is able to take the physical toll at this weight.
I don't like the fight because Terrence Crawford is a good fighter, but in the sport of boxing, it has divisions. You know what I mean? You know?
Right, weight classes.
You know what?
Right?
Yeah, weight classes
for a reason.
Weight classes for and Terrence Crawford is a good fighter in super lightweight, welterweight, super welterweight, but I think more. I remember when Terrence Crawford fought with Madrimov.
Yes.
He looks slow. He looks with no power, and three more divisions. Two more divisions. I think it's a top fight for Terrence Crawford, but Terrence Crawford is a great fighter. He has a great defense. He has a good combination punches, but I think the weight class is no good for him.
Adding to the roll call of Canelo believers, Jim Lampley applauded how much Canelo has learned from the best in the game, Floyd Mayweather. Lampley pointed to the development of Canelo in defense, ring IQ, and adjustability, refined skills honed by observing the best at the game. He thinks this experience provides Canelo with a tactical advantage that should not be overlooked. With voices such as Lampley's supporting him, the argument for Canelo is still strong, presenting this fight as an actual battle of boxing minds and styles.
Canelo's smart. Absolutely, he's smart. He knows this business as well as anybody. So no, it's not surprising that Canelo learned from Floyd and has employed some of that in the retention of his career. Canelo still knows how to make fireworks when he absolutely has to make fireworks. But at the end of the day, he's a counterpuncher. He's a great defender. He has the most solid punch resistance of anybody in the sport. Nobody's ever knocked him off balance. Nobody's ever really knocked him down. There's only one official knockdown in his career, and it was because he bounced off the ropes when Jose Cotto hit him with a hard shot to the chest. And the referee employed a strict interpretation of the rules and said, oh, the ropes held you up, so that's a knockdown. He's never been put on his back by anybody. He rides horseback every morning. His legs are the strongest in the sport. You're not going to beat Canelo until somehow over a long period of time Canelo beats himself.
But since that Canelo versus Callum Smith fight, even though Canelo won, the absence of speed and drama sowed seeds of skepticism among the fans and pundits. Oscar De La Hoya was one of the first to publicly decry the bout as being disappointing and ask if Canelo's style was changing or getting overly cautious. That bout raised questions about whether Canelo would be able to hold on to that dynamic advantage that made him so exciting inside the ring.
The facts are that they're over 35 years old both, and I remember I fought Chavez when he was 32 and he was 99-1 and people thought he was over the hill. So,
have you changed your pick for that fight, Oscar, based on how Canelo looked against Skull?
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say because Canelo, you know, obviously he walks on quicksand. We saw it against Skull once again. Crawford is very, you know, he's not one-dimensional. He can move, he can box, he can, you know, I don't know how hard he hits to keep Canelo away from him, but you know, I think it's going to be very interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the fight.
Consequently, numerous analysts began to favor Crawford, the first of them being Teddy Atlas, who didn't mince words. Selecting Terence Crawford to pull the upset, Atlas likened the fight to Pacquiao versus De La Hoya, in which the smaller man stunned the world with speed, timing, and accuracy. He thinks that Crawford's ring IQ and versatility will prove decisive, similar to Pacquiao's. Size will not count when greatness enters the ring, says Atlas.
People are going to say Canelo's too big. He had trouble with a 154-pound guy when he went up from welterweight to that. So now he's going up to 168. Teddy, come on. How are you going to make an argument? You're going to make an argument to this, to the history of this sport, where little guys have been able to beat big guys, because you reverse it. You reverse who's got the advantage and the disadvantage. Yeah, the size, the power of Canelo, he's got the advantage. Then all of a sudden you go back and you say, wait a minute. The other guy's faster. The other guy's craftier. The other guy has more options. The other guy is slicker. Oh, maybe he's got the advantages. Like the first time Pacquiao fought De La Hoya. And I know De La Hoya was having trouble with weight. No, I get it. And that's fair. But still, I remember I picked that one. Every once in a while I pick one right. I remember that I picked that one where Pacquiao's going to win. And I said, yeah, you're saying that De La Hoya's bigger, he's stronger. He's got the power edge, he's got this edge. But the other guy's quicker. And that's going to be an edge.
Teddy Atlas also supported Terence Crawford by saying that he possesses the elusive X factor, which distinguishes great fighters from the exceptionally great ones. He referred to previous upsets such as Pacquiao versus De La Hoya, where timing, speed, and ring intelligence overpowered size and power. Atlas detects something of the same sort cooking here. A tempest Canelo may not be prepared to handle. Though evasive, his faith in Crawford says much. This isn't a prediction, it's a warning.
I'm one of the people that thinks Crawford is very, very special. I'm not saying Canelo's not, but I think he's special in a different way. where he's got instincts that not everyone has.
Yeah.
That it's the timing, it's the instinctual things, the X factors, the intangibles that he has. And I think they're going to show themselves. I really do. And I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see a smaller guy use those intangibles, use those X factors to beat a bigger guy. I always wanted to see David and Goliath live.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Eddie Hearn, long an ally of Canelo Alvarez and a principal promoter of many of his previous fights, surprisingly jumped on the bandwagon of Terence Crawford in this eagerly anticipated contest. Although he has had a history with Canelo, Hearn complimented Crawford's toolset and described him as the most complete boxer in the world right now. He highlighted Crawford's versatility to move up and overpower in several weight divisions, postulating that the American possesses it all to upset the Mexican sensation in this showdown.
Do you see that fight now differently based on how Canelo performed against Skull Eddie?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah? Oh, wow.
It wasn't just the fact that he couldn't cut the ring off. I just feel like the timing now, the age, Canelo is amazing. I mean, not just because of his ability and what he's accomplished, but the fact that he still has the desire for those training camps and those fights. But I just feel like that desire might be fading a little bit, not because of his love for, but just because of age and like life. Do you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, like the Crawford fight will definitely get him up for it. But I was actually watching that fight thinking I wouldn't be surprised if he retired and actually didn't fight Crawford, because I don't think he'll want to lose to Crawford, a much smaller guy, just because he's at the end of the road. But the fight's so big and the money's so big, he's gonna have to take it. I bet he retires after that fight.
Josh Taylor has also backed Terence Crawford, joining the increasing number of champions who believe Bud has what it takes to do the job. Taylor, a former undisputed super lightweight champion, was full of praise for Crawford's all-around ability and fight IQ, which he thought would enable him to outfight and outbox Canelo. Taylor did not get too deep into strategy, but his faith in Crawford was evident. His all-around ability is just on another level. With combatants like Taylor and Leonard in his corner, the odds now appear to be in favor of Bud.
Canelo Crawford, what's your prediction for that?
Crawford. I don't know, it's a tough one to be fair, but I think Crawford definitely has got the ability and the skill to outbox him and outmaneuver him. But I don't know if he's quite as cute as and got the nuances how Mayweather done it. But it was obviously that's the blueprint. And Crawford can switch hit as well, and he can do the same things as what Mayweather done, but he's just not quite as cute as it at it, But yeah, it's an intriguing fight. It's certainly an interesting fight, one I'll definitely be staying up to watch.
Tony Bellew joined the chorus in the Crawford camp with one overriding reason: speed. The ex-cruiserweight champion is convinced that Crawford's rapidity of hand as well as foot will prove the difference against Canelo's power and pressure. Bellew had no hesitation in supporting Crawford, observing that speed is deadly in boxing, particularly when combined with great ring IQ. With monikers such as Taylor, Leonard, and Bellew all tipping to Bud, the conviction of Crawford's greatness is ringing louder than ever.
He's not old by any stretch of the imagination. No, he's an exceptional fighter, Canelo. But the way that everyone will think is weight classes exist for a reason, and they're thinking Bud's going up too much. Bud's actually big. Terence Crawford's a big dude. I've been around him, I know him. And he's a brilliant fighter. Technically, very adaptive. Can do it all. Has got power. The Errol Spence fight tells you everything you need to know. The Errol Spence fight he was unbelievable. And Errol Spence is a seriously physically strong guy, with power. Errol Spence made it in the modern day Marvin Hagler. He was a force to be reckoned with. And he brushed Errol Spence aside like he was nothing. And bullied him. And once again, I predicted that fight. I said he'd stop Errol Spence late. No one's seen that coming. It's just styles make fights so much, and Errol likes to wait and be powerful. Canelo's similar. Canelo likes to wait. It has to be all at Canelo's rate and pace.
Right.
He's not going to get that way with Terence Crawford.
No, you think?
I just think Terence Crawford will outwork him, will pot shot him.
Shakur Stevenson also pledged his support for Terence Crawford, hailing his flashy style and in-ring smarts. The young sensation views Crawford's quickness and ability to adjust as the ideal combination to deal with Canelo's power and experience. Stevenson's support brings new vitality to the hype, noting how even the next generation of contenders honors Crawford's skill. With so many heavy hitters leaning on him, Crawford's confidence and faith in his win only grows larger.
I think Bud gonna cook Canelo. I think he's gonna cook him. I think, Canelo a hell of a fighter, but I think Bud just got all the tools to beat him.
You don't think the weight difference is gonna be too big of an advantage?
I think y'all make that something, in certain fights,
Boxing makes it something, not us.
like if this was like a Benavidez, he's actually a lot bigger than Bud, so that would like apply. But I feel like with Canelo, he's like physically kind of big, but like height-wise, he's kind of small. So I don't think so. No.
Corey, have you got a decision to stop this? Because Bradman and Boozy think that Bud actually might stop it.
Me and Boozy talked about that. That's crazy. Me and him got on the phone and talked about it, but I think that's possible. Like, I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I think it's a possibility if Canelo gets to acting out of line and not understanding that Bud can crack too. So.
Bernard Hopkins added his voice to the list of praise for Terence Crawford, singling out his quick boxing IQ and strategic thinking. The all-time great former middleweight and light heavyweight champion is of the opinion that Crawford's intelligence to outsmart and outmaneuver others makes him a serious contender to beat Canelo. Hopkins' seal of approval comes with heavyweight status because of his decades-long experience at the elite level. His faith in Crawford's ability set another booming voice to say that Bud possesses what it takes to take down this gargantuan fight.
He has a legitimate chance. Over 60% for his mind. If you say, Bernard, give me a number.
Give me a number.
He has an 85+ chance to beat Canelo. Why? He's not going in there to prove something, which will fall into Canelo's hand. He would love for him to prove something. That means you will stay there and try to prove something. But to go in there and to let him know, establish that from the first round, that I belong without showing that I am tough. I earned my position to be here. And I want to show you, even though you're being stubborn, that your time not only have came, but it's gone. He ain't gonna surrender and say I slowed up so I'm gonna act like it. No, he has to be shown. And it has to be early.
It's a collision of styles, eras, and philosophies. Will power prevail, or will precision steal the night? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe, and keep it locked right here. We're bringing you everything from face-offs to final bell. The countdown to war has begun.